Video games are filled with mysteries. Whether it's a missing part of the story, a specific character shrouded in secret, a certain door or chest with no way of opening it, an item that seems constantly out of reach. These are all things that have plagued the minds of many fans over the years. In some cases, it could be purposefully put there as a way for the developers to keep conversation going years after the game is released. A mistake overlooked and left in, something that was supposed to be resolved in DLC or a sequel, but was scrapped or in some cases have even been confirmed by the developers to just be a way for them to troll the players. The truth behind some of these mysteries on this list have been solved, but some are still the focal point of many discussions, debates, and theories, leaving players confused to this day. If you're a fan of gaming list videos like this, please give us a like and comment below letting us know what lists or topics you would like to see videos on in the future. Then subscribe and click the notification button so you don't miss out when those videos go live. These are 10 of the biggest secrets and mysteries in gaming. Number 10, Kingdom Hearts: The Mystery Chest. First up on our list is a relatively newer mystery. Kingdom Hearts is a game that, to some, has as much of a confusing story as the Zelda timeline. To add on to this, with Kingdom Hearts 2.8, Square decided to drop another mystery to tease fans for Kingdom Hearts 3. In 2.8, we see the Master of Masters sends Luxu off with his Keyblade in this chest. Curiously enough, the top of this chest has X Super inscribed upon it. The chest also has 7 locks on the front and back, with 3 on each of the sides. This is important because some fans believe the Master of Masters' name to be Superbia, a play on the word super, which is found on top of the chest, and that the 20 locks found on the chest are directly related to the X-Blade, or Keyblade, which is one of the most powerful items within the entire series. For those who may not know, the Keyblade shattered into 20 pieces, 13 of darkness and 7 of light. It is believed by many that the 7 pieces of light went on and became the hearts of the 7 princesses of heart. But we are never told what exactly happens to the 13 pieces of darkness. However, some have noticed that the 7 locks on the back of the chest are actually hinges and not locks. But this still leaves 13 locks as a reference to the 13 pieces of darkness. So in either situation, it's still a reference to the Keyblade. This leads many to theorize that the chest actually holds those missing 13 pieces of darkness. Others believe it to be the Kingdom Hearts, which is considered to be the ultimate source of power and wisdom in the Kingdom Hearts universe. The truth is, nobody knows exactly what the purpose of this chest is, or really what's inside it. Realistically speaking, we will likely find out when Kingdom Hearts 3 releases, but until then, its only real purpose is just a way for Square Enix to tease fans and keep them discussing theories to keep the hype alive until the game finally releases. Number 9, Destiny. Who is Nokris? As much as I love mysteries from older games that I spent countless hours trying to solve as a kid, I'm talking before the internet was what it is today, where almost everything can be answered by a simple Google search. However, what I'm amazed by even more is when a developer can add secrets and Easter eggs to newer games that can remain a mystery despite having a world of information at your fingertips. This is why Destiny is one of the games at the top of this list. When the Taken King DLC released for Destiny, a lot of in-game lore and information on new characters was revealed, and fans were excited to learn even more about the lore. One thing in particular that stood out and confused everybody: on the Dreadnought, you will come across some statues. 2 of these statues feature Crota and Oryx, who are featured as bosses in the game. Oryx being the father of Crota. Examining the statues will reveal a bit of information about the two. However, when allowing your ghost to examine the statue of Nokris, we aren't given any information. It says,
"The marking suggests this is a hive god, but I don't recognize the symbol." Nothing in the world's grave file either. The name is Nokris.
Really quick for those who may not know, the world's grave file, you can think of it sort of like a supercomputer that holds all of the known information in the universe. Now, fans of Destiny theorize that because Oryx and Crota are related, that Nokris is also related, being either the mother or brother of Crota, making him or her the wife or son of Oryx. But we have no real information to confirm this. Nothing else within the game really even mentions him or her. So why a statue with the others? All we really know is Nokris was another hive god, which lead many fans to believe it was a way for Bungie to foreshadow an upcoming boss for future DLC. But there's no more upcoming DLC for Destiny. But in a similar way, they foreshadowed Destiny in their previous game, Halo 3 ODST. Bungie placed a picture of Earth with what looks similar to an early version of the Traveler below it, with text saying, "Destiny awaits." A clear Easter egg foreshadowing their next franchise many years before it was even announced. So, could this be Bungie's way of foreshadowing, once again, what to expect from their next game? With Destiny 2 on the horizon, Nokris' statue could be a small tease at what to expect. But if Nokris doesn't make an appearance, fans may have to keep looking for clues to solve this mystery. Number 8, Majora's Mask, the Happy Mask Salesman. Like Kingdom Hearts, many things from the Zelda series could make a video of gaming mysteries, but one of the most interesting and peculiar topics is the Happy Mask Salesman. Sure, we have other characters such as Tingle and Beetle who show up in different games, hundreds and even thousands of years apart from each other, and as strange as they may seem, they aren't nearly as odd as the Happy Mask Salesman. He first appears in Ocarina of Time, but only during the child era. He honestly seems like more of a throwaway character, no more important than any other side quest in PC. However, this all changes in Majora's Mask. He follows Link to Termina. He is one of the only characters who has knowledge of magic, let alone knowing how to use magic, such as setting spirits free from suffering, and is seemingly unaffected by time. Some people may bring up how Termina isn't a real place and is more of a dream world, thanks to Hyrule Historia, but the creator of the game, Aonuma, and others who have worked on the game have said on multiple occasions how Termina is a real location next to Hyrule. So, skipping all of that, the Happy Mask Salesman also appears in one of the Oracle games as part of another side quest. He has a character based off of him in Skyward Sword, but that character is more of a reference. He possibly makes an appearance in Breath of the Wild as Kilton, who is also a Happy Mask Salesman. Some theorize he is simply the Happy Mask Salesman in disguise. And this just adds to the mystery. The real mystery is, how is he one of the few characters who possesses knowledge of magic? How did he actually gain or learn of Majora's Mask? And how did he specifically know to follow Link? Many believe him to be a deity or god, similar to the many other deities found throughout the series, such as all of the sages, the light spirits, the many different dragons, the 3 goddesses, and even Hylia, who is now reincarnated as Zelda. Others believe him to be one of the few remaining members of the Sheikah tribe, as he dresses in purple and possesses magic and knowledge that he really shouldn't. Number 7, Grand Theft Auto 5, and the mystery of Mount Chiliad and the new aliens. The Grand Theft Auto series is no stranger to crazy Easter eggs and fun mysteries to keep the players glued to the games. For example, San Andreas famously had Bigfoot sightings that was the source of debate for years. Rockstar continued this with Grand Theft Auto 5, with the now infamous alien mystery. However, the way Rockstar went about it is a bit of an odd mix of trolling and giving fanfare. They knew hardcore fans would scour every inch of the game looking for every secret and Easter egg they could find, so the game has plenty. However, one in particular is the Mount Chiliad map. Fans have been trying to decipher the clues since the game released. Possibly connected to this map is the frozen alien found underneath the ice at the very beginning of the game, and the rare sighting of spaceships during the post-game. However, aside from the potential frozen alien and flying saucers, Rockstar didn't even bother putting anything else directly related to the map in the game. At the beginning, it was essentially a giant troll by Rockstar, giving you a mystery to solve with no real way to solve it. A few years later, hidden deep within the code of the game, fans found the egg shown on the map. But the egg, which doesn't even physically appear in the game, was nothing more than an unused model. It had absolutely no code or scripting attached to it. It was literally just the code for a model of an egg that didn't even appear in the game. And again, this egg was hidden deep within the code. This didn't stop fans from continuing to search though. Many Twitch and YouTube streamers would spend day after day doing nothing but looking for the answers to this mystery. It wasn't until very recently that the answers were found. During the Gunrunners update for Grand Theft Auto V, Rockstar snuck in more hidden code for a crashed spaceship, and part of a mission that involves the now mythical aliens that millions of players had given up on, thought was a joke, or just a troll by the developers. Now, with a bit of hacking, you can experience part of this new mission. But until Rockstar releases the full mission, the secret of Mount Chiliad will continue to go unsolved. Number 6. Undertale, the mystery of W.D. Gaster. A relatively new mystery on the list. In the game, you fall into a world beneath the earth called the Underground. You are on a quest to reach the surface and come across many monsters on your journey. You can choose to defeat or spare them, but your choices will affect the overall story of the game, leaving you facing the consequences to your actions. The game features many secrets and mysteries that fans are still discussing and theorizing about today. One of the most interesting topics from this game is W.D. Gaster. He was a royal scientist who created the core, an advanced tech facility between Holland and New Home, and is the source of the magical electricity for the underground. Even though he is in a way responsible for the magic of the underworld, no one really knows what happened to him. Whether he died or simply vanished, some claim his experiments went wrong, he fell into his creation, and even that he was shattered across space and time. Driven by the mystery, fans data mined the code in the game and found NPC text and other unused assets that reveal who he may have been, describing him as a skeletal doctor who experimented on time and space. Though he is never given a true physical form, some believe he fell into one of his inventions, and his spirit was spread throughout time and space, allowing him to exist everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Several rooms exist in the game that can only be accessed on very special occasions. One room, Room 123, has an unknown character mention there is somebody with a creepy smile behind you. The character is thought to disappear after the dialogue ends, and many believe the man with the creepy smile to be the same character from another room, 269. That is thought to be Gaster. Another oddity happens when you try to name your character at the beginning of the game Gaster. Doing so will cause the intro to start over again, a possible reference to naming your file Zelda in the original Zelda game, which allows you to skip to the second quest. Number 5, the Halo series. The Ghosts of Halo. I feel like we need a good multiplayer game on here. This one is more of a mystery caused by a bug or glitch than an actual in-game lore-based mystery. If you aren't familiar with the Ghosts of Halo, it usually happens during multiplayer, but a few people have reported it happening during the main campaign. But they tend to sound more like creepypasta than actual reality. Then again, even the real thing itself sort of sounds like a creepypasta, akin to Ben Drown of Majora's Mask. Halo Wiki tells us the following. The Ghosts of Halo are unidentified players that tend to spawn out of nowhere during multiplayer games, exclusively cited in Halo 2, Halo 3, and Halo Reach. Such ghosts tend to behave bizarrely and possess odd features. Among other things, they do not carry gamer tags, do not show up on the scoreboard, and move erratically. They can be hostile if provoked, though some have been known to attack actual players for no reason. On some occasions, they are also invulnerable and will not die. Ghosts of Halo are caused by stress on the game engine, due to lots of activity going on as well as severe network lag. Under the right conditions, it can cause a single player or multiple players to manifest as ghosts. To the ghost player, they are not aware of what's going on, but to many people, it will seem downright bizarre. It seems in Halo Reach, you need to overload the map in order to artificially simulate the right conditions for a ghost to manifest. The same rule or some similar conditions probably applies to the other Halo games. The more players in the game, the more different the results will be of how the ghost manifests itself. And it may not manifest in the same perspective of every single player. Some players may see the ghost player, others may not. In some cases, parts of the player may become a ghost, such as weapons, while the rest of the player remains invisible. Firing the invisible weapon will still cause damage though, but to non-ghost players, it will appear as if they are taking damage for no reason, while the ghost will be completely unaware of what's happening. Number 4, Ocarina of Time, Frozen, Zora's Domain. In Ocarina of Time, when you become an adult, Ganondorf basically curses all of Hyrule. Lake Hylia has dried up, the volcano in Death Mountain is now active, he has imprisoned most of the Gorons, and he brings new enemies to Kokiri Forest. Completing the dungeon in each area restores the nearby location to its former glory. For example, completing the Water Temple brings back water to Lake Hylia, completing the Fire Temple makes Death Mountain stable and sets the Gorons free. Completing the Forest Temple gets rid of all of the evil creatures that have taken over the forest. However, after completing the Ice Cavern and the Water Temple, Zora's Domain remains frozen. You can save almost every area in the game, aside from Hyrule Castletown, of course, because no endgame exists to play after Ganon is defeated, but the Zora remained trapped in the frozen Zora's Domain. This led to many fans spending countless hours looking for side quests or something to unfreeze it and save the Zora. The likely reason for this is that a planned expansion known as Zelda Ura was to release and continue the story of Ocarina of Time. Theoretically, it would have allowed you to complete an ice dungeon or complete a quest to save the Zora. Since it didn't release, it is thought the ice dungeon was shortened to the Ice Cavern and the idea was just scrapped. Number 3, Super Mario Sunshine, the Mystery Book. Another infamous mystery on our list is the secret book in Super Mario Sunshine. During red coins in a bottle in Noki Bay, there is a rock formation at the bottom and a small entrance with a partially open door. If you look behind this door, you can see a book lying on the ground. Most fans went the entire game without even noticing the book, but those who did likely spent countless days going crazy trying to figure out how to get it. The sad part of this, by using glitches or hacking the game, you can make your way through the door and reach the book. However, the book cannot physically be touched, so even if you do manage to get to it, you can't pick it up, collect it, or anything. What makes this even more interesting is that the door blocking the way is slightly opened, leading many to think that the book is meant to be interacted with. In reality, the book was likely planned to be part of a level, but was cut from the final game, just not removed from the code for some reason. It could even be similar to the L is Real 2401 statue from Super Mario 64. Where the developers at Nintendo admitted they kept it in the game to troll the players and keep them guessing. Number 2, Banjo Kazooie, Stop and Swap. This next mystery is well documented and featured on a lot of lists. However, many fail to include how the developers resolved the issue. I'm talking about the infamous Stop and Swap feature in Banjo Kazooie. In the original Banjo Kazooie, several eggs and an ice key existed that would make use of this Stop and Swap feature. After collecting the item, you would leave your console on, remove Banjo Kazooie, and insert the sequel Banjo Tooie to unlock a secret. You would have originally had up to 10 seconds to complete this swap. In newer revisions of the console, the Nintendo 64 would only hold data for less than a second for you to make the swap, which would make it nearly impossible. So the feature was scrapped for the second game. Many fans who didn't know it was supposed to carry over to a sequel simply believed it would allow you to access the locked doors in Gruntilda's castle or other secret areas within the game. Some of these stop and swap items would eventually be added to Banjo Tooie without using the feature. So, in the end, players would still be able to unlock the mystery content like turning Kazooie into a dragon, multiplayer characters, and cheat codes. Eventually, when Banjo Kazooie and Tooie re-released on the Xbox 360, the stop and swap features were brought back, but slightly altered to allow new features and nuts and bolts. Collecting certain stop and swap items would allow access to rare vehicles or Royston, Banjo's pet goldfish. Before we make it to our final mystery on this video, we have to give an honorable mention just because this has been one of the most popular gaming mysteries for almost 20 years, and responsible for dozens, if not hundreds, of video game myths. I'm talking about Super Mario 64, L is real. Without a doubt, one of the biggest mysteries that haunted fans throughout their childhood is the real meaning of this sign reading L is real 2401. Thankfully, many years later, developers finally revealed its meaning. From what we've learned from developers, it was placed in as a joke, with absolutely no real purpose, possibly as just something to keep the player hooked and keep coming back to the game. When people first came across this statue, it drove people crazy. What does L mean? It would always be in the back of fans' minds. The most logical answer is L stands for Luigi. After all, if Toad, Peach, Bowser, and even Yoshi are all featured in the game, why not Luigi? Nintendo confirming at one point that the game was supposed to feature multiplayer, with the second player playing as Luigi, only fueled speculation even more, because this means at one point, Luigi must have actually been in the game. In typical retro video game fashion, schoolyards and early internet forums became rumor mills of people claiming to have been able to play as Luigi by doing extraordinarily difficult or just plain bizarre tasks, such as running around the statue 2,401 times, or doing a very tedious, precise set of instructions. Number 1. Elder Scrolls and the Bugs of Skyrim. Skyrim is completely filled with seemingly endless stuff to do. After the better half of a decade, fans are still discovering secrets within the game. However, one secret that most players were able to discover, but never able to solve, are the bugs in the jar. Yes, in an overworld the size of Skyrim, with countless quests and several hundred hours of gameplay, one of the biggest mysteries still haunting fans is what are the purpose for all of these bugs. We have a butterfly, moth, bee, firefly, and others all neatly placed in a glass jar with a lid. The bottom side of each lid has its own rune. What are these words for? And what are these bugs for? With millions of players coming across these bugs and absolutely no idea what to do with them, it's safe to say that many came up with their own theories of what they're used for. Some of the more popular theories range from, and I kid you not, different versions of the apocalypse, giant dragons, and secret abilities, to them being a simple Easter egg with certain developers' initials on the underside of the lids. Yes, from world-ending apocalypses to simple Easter eggs with initials inscribed on them, these jars with bugs in them have almost as crazy of a conspiracy behind them as Jack Sparrow's very own jar with sand. The real-world answer for this is likely that Skyrim was such a massive game with so many different things to do when it started getting close to the release date for the game. Some of the side quests were likely cancelled, with a lot of the assets, ideas, quests, and other stuff just simply being scrapped. With a lot of real bugs and glitches being left in the game after release, like flying cows or game-breaking scenarios, Bethesda likely focused on fixing and polishing the game to remove as many glitches and bugs as possible, instead of removing the other bugs and unused content from the game. After all, having more things to collect isn't going to necessarily ruin the game, so why not just leave it in instead of taking the time to remove it? If you're a fan of videos like this that cover the history of cancelled games and consoles, be sure to subscribe, check out our Patreon to support this channel and the creation of new videos with your advice and input, and check out our top 5 cancelled games series and let us know what games you would like to see us cover in the future. So far we have lists covering the Zelda series, Mario, Nintendo, PlayStation, and plan to have dedicated videos covering a list of cancelled Sonic and Pokemon games, with this video being a taste of what to expect. What's up everybody, Game Over Jesse here, and if you enjoyed this video and are into awesome nerdy geeky content like we are, consider subscribing to Geek Fuel, a monthly subscription box that is guaranteed to have over $50 worth of great stuff in every box. You'll receive an exclusive shirt, games, collectibles, and other geek-related greatness. Use the link geekfuel.com/GameOverJesse to not only get $3 off of your subscription, but to help out our channel as well, which means more time to work on more videos for you guys. I want to thank you all for watching this video, and welcome to the end slate. If you're a fan of these videos, please subscribe and comment below to let me know your thoughts. If you would like to support this channel, please consider supporting on Patreon, where you can watch videos like this early, and help me create longer videos like the top 10 10 best and worst of Ocarina of Time, Breath of the Wild, and the top 5 official Zelda games that have either been cancelled or just went unreleased. Finally, a huge thank you to this month's supporters: George Says Hi, Link Uses the Triforce, Transcendent Sacred Courage, Glenn Cassio, Prey Warrior, Victopedia, Rusty Caulfield, Robert W., Amanda Pina, Lunarium, Chris Gasparin, Harris Priest, Lovable Christie, Key of Time 15, Jerome Major, Daryl Quinnen, Furzin 16, Kadron, Magic Tech Review, and The Itch Network.